Well, we want to get back to the pandemic now and the Omicron surge. And we are joined this afternoon by Jamie White, the COVID response Deputy Incident Commander for Sacramento County. Jamie, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us live right now. First of all, tell us about the latest COVID numbers specifically in Sacramento County.
Sure. In Sacramento County, we're seeing about an average of 1,200 cases per day. That equates to a rate of 80.3 per 100,000. This is the biggest wave that we've seen since the beginning of the pandemic. And so far, we've not seen a huge increase in deaths. We're hoping it stays that way, though it's too early to tell, as we typically see an increase in deaths that not until a couple weeks lag after we see cases peak. In terms of hospitalizations, the most recent point in time count we have is 267. That's up from 189 hospitalized cases from the week prior. This includes 6 pediatric cases, which is particularly concerning. And we've seen also an increase in testing volume. The number of specimens tested in the last week went up 33% from the prior week. And our positivity rate has more than doubled. So we're currently at a 16% positivity rate for those getting tested.
Yeah, and talk about the number of people testing positive who have been vaccinated. What are you seeing there, and what do you attribute that to?
Sure. So vaccines are still the best tool that we have to protect against COVID-19 infection, especially for preventing severe outcomes like hospitalization and death. But no vaccine is 100% effective. Some breakthrough cases are to be expected. The case rate among unvaccinated persons is still double that, at least more than double that of those who are vaccinated. But that said, there's a combination of factors that can contribute to a growing number of vaccinated people who are getting positive COVID test results. One is just simply the increase in coverage, vaccine coverage in the county. So the higher number of people you have vaccinated, if you have 10% of the population vaccinated, of course, you're going to have fewer vaccinated cases than you do if you have 60% of the population vaccinated. So there's just a larger pool of vaccinated persons to become infected. Another is that our testing volume has increased, so including among fully vaccinated cases. So we are doing a better job of capturing these breakthrough cases. Probably the most concerning factor is that there may be non-optimal or possibly somewhat decreasing vaccine coverage over time. There is some evidence to show that Omicron's mutations allow it to escape antibodies, but there are more studies needed, and it's not clear if there's other components of the immune system activated by the vaccine, like our T cells, that can still effectively target Omicron.
We know this mad dash to test has partly been due to the holidays and people coming off of the holiday break now, specifically students going back into school, parents going, okay, what's going to happen now? What do you tell those parents who are concerned about sending their kids back to school during the surge?
Yeah, it's been a really tough year for everybody, but especially for parents and guardians. The good news is that children, especially healthy children, have been much less likely to have severe outcomes from COVID than older adults. First, I'd say get informed and use that information to make the best decision for you and your family. Everyone has different needs, health conditions, and risk tolerance. If you have questions about how your child's school is preventing or handling cases or outbreaks or exposures in the classroom, ask those questions. I know that a lot of, or all of the schools in Sacramento County have plans for these types of things, where this pandemic is not new. Public Health has a team that has been working very closely with the Sacramento County Office of Education throughout the pandemic on these types of issues. We also anticipate that the state will be releasing new school guidance within the next few days.
Okay, well, we will watch for those then. And Jamie White, we certainly appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you so much for having me.